fuel to the top, got a filled up engine.
Good evening, welcome to FA Cup Live here on LFS this evening for our second of our doubleheader this afternoon as Aston Villa take on Tottenham in an all-Premier League tie here at Villa Park this evening to round off the Sunday action of FA Cup football. Earlier this afternoon, Wolves booked their place in round 5, beating Blackburn by 2-0 at Ewood Park, and shock and upset of the round as Liverpool, the Premier League leaders, were knocked out by Championship Plymouth by 1-0 at Home Park earlier this afternoon. But it's to all Premier League sides for this one this evening. Aston Villa, who came through an all-Premier League tie on round 3 to face Tottenham, and a Tottenham side, well, at the moment, after being knocked out of the Carabao Cup semi-finals in midweek, this is another domestic trophy they're hoping to go deep into, but they will have a tough task here at Villa Park this evening. Also to come this weekend before round 4 concludes, Palace head to Doncaster and Exeter host Nottingham Forest on Tuesday nights. Right, it is ready and waiting for this one this evening. Two Premier League sides, well, Aston Villa chasing Europe again, Spurs a bit off Europe at the moment, but both sides knowing that a big result tonight could be a start of something really good for them in this competition this season. Spurs 17 years without a trophy, Aston Villa in probably one of their best situations they've been in modern history, in the Champions League and competing at the right end of the Premier League table. But tonight, that all goes to the wayside, and it's about 90 minutes, possibly extra time or penalties, that will decide a winner this evening. Ange Postecoglou under pressure, Unai Emery looking to get his Aston Villa side back on a consistent run of form after a few sloppy results as of recently in the Premier League. We will see who will come out on top this evening. Kick-off is 3 minutes away, so let's have a look at the two teams then this evening, starting with Aston Villa. They continue with Emi Martinez in goal. Their new signing, Andres Garcia, starts at right back. He was involved in that 2-0 defeat against Wolves and on the bench for that West Ham game a few weeks ago. Problems continue at centre-back for Unai Emery's side. Ezri Konsa is joined alongside Boubacar Kamara in centre-back. Luca Digne is at left-back. In midfield is Yuri Tielemans alongside captain John McGinn, and a 3 in front of them of Morgan Rogers in the 10, Jacob Ramsey off the left side, Leon Bailey off the right, and new signing Donyell Malen leading the line for Villa, who joined in January. On the bench for Aston Villa, some new faces as well, but a shorter bench, only 7 on the bench for Villa this evening, as Olsen, Zijk, Maatsen, Jamo, Bogard, and new signings Marco Asensio on loan and Marcus Rashford, both on loan, are on the bench this evening. For Tottenham, Antonin Kinski continues in goal. He's been in goal with Vicario still out injured and was involved in that 4-0 dumping out of the Carabao Cup on Thursday night. Pedro Porro is at right back. Kevin Danso makes his second successive start for Spurs alongside Archie Gray at centre back and Jed Spence at left back. In midfield, Rodrigo Bentancur is joined alongside by Lucas Bergvall. In the 10 is Dejan Kulusevski, Mikey Moore, the 17-year-old at right out on the right, captain Heung-min Son on the left, and new signing Matthias Tell, who joined on loan from Bayern Munich. He makes his first senior start for Tottenham. On the bench for Spurs this evening, Austin, Forster, Hardy, Reguilon, Casanova Davies, Bissouma, Sarr and Ajayi. Is the Claret and Blue against the Lily Whites here at Villa Park this evening. Two Premier League sides looking for a place in round 5. We'll see who will progress when kick-off gets underway after this. Good evening and welcome to Villa Park, a historic stadium for its history and its great nights. The FA Cup has already caused some drama today and over this weekend, and two Premier League sides booking and hoping and grasping for a place in round 5. We'll see. Well, one will be going out tonight. Will it be the visitors or will it be the home side? We will see. We were here in round 3 when Aston Villa took on West Ham in the Battle of the Claret and Blues. It was Villa that came out on top that night. Can they make it 2-2 against Premier League opponents in this competition this season? Or can Spurs bounce back from that awful defeat, being dumped out of the Carabao Cup at the semi-final stage by Liverpool at Anfield on Thursday? 4-0 they were thumped, but Ange Postecoglou's side want something different today, want to reignite their hopes of a cup glory, and they have a tough place to come in Villa Park, as Matthias Tell couldn't keep that one in from Spence down the left side. Well, we had a cracking evening game yesterday in these parts. Birmingham took Newcastle right to the bitter end of that one at St Andrews. And their local rivals, Aston Villa, are looking to do the same against Premier League opponents. Very different, Birmingham and Aston Villa, in their stages of their campaigns, as Rodgers plays a lovely ball forward. Here is a chance! And a goal for Jacob Ramsey. Less than a minute gone, and Aston Villa lead here at Villa Park. Fabulous start for Unai Emery's side, and Tottenham's clean sheet diminished again. They concede inside a minute, and Ange Postecoglou's horror show continues at Aston Villa. Take the lead. Tottenham behind inside a minute, and it's Jacob Ramsey with a goal. Again, it's good play in midfield. Tielemans finds it into Rodgers. Rodgers skips past his marker and Bergvall. He bursts forward, feeds a darted ball down the left-hand side into Jacob Ramsey. No one anywhere near Ramsey, and he shoots it straight at Kinski. And Kinski just palms it into his own net. The power and pace on the ball took it past the Spurs keeper. And what a start for Aston Villa. Leading with just less than a minute gone. Villa 1, Tottenham 0. And it's Jacob Ramsey that has the home side in front. And now they're looking to respond again. Got a corner there, Villa, from the restart. Well, we saw a goal in the first minute at St Andrews yesterday. Birmingham taking the lead against Newcastle. It was the visitors that ended up winning 3-2 on that occasion. Spurs will be hoping that history is repeating itself in these parts of the world, with a early goal and now an early corner for Villa. Started excellently here. McGinn with a deep cross in. Away by Bergvall. Oh, kept alive by Garcia. And Bailey now. Well, it is by far the start that Spurs did not want. After that thumping at Anfield 3 days ago, they wanted to come here, make it hard for Villa, not give them an easy game. But you've got to be honest in what you can say and what you can see. Despite the injuries, Spurs remain probably one of the easiest sides to play against in the Premier League. And although it's not a Premier League game tonight, it is a Premier League matchup. Villa already taking advantage of Spurs' recent frailties at the back. And it's just really simple. You know, it's not that Villa had to do anything complicated. Beat past the man in the midfield, and it was a gaping hole down that left-hand or that right-hand side of the Spurs defence. It's just a nice ball into Ramsey, and a bit of luck that the keeper palmed it into his own net. But you know, it was a good start from Villa, and they deservedly lead as McGinn steps away from Bergvall's challenge. A bit overzealous again, and space for Villa to break down the left. Ramsey steps in field, plays it on to Rodgers. Again, Spurs not getting involved in those battles at the minute. Really not physical enough. Digne whips it across, too far ahead of Ramsey. Will be a goal kick, but again Villa come forward and just make it easy, really, against that Spurs midfield. Spurs midfield that was a big disappointing factor in midweek. They were nowhere near combative enough against Liverpool and were beaten around the pitch. Here's going to be an issue as Kevin Danzo's in possession, but he kind of shoved Donyell Malen outside of the confines of the pitch, and referee Anthony Taylor just stopped the game for the moment. Wouldn't. I think there's a free kick being given. I'm confused as to what way it's gone. That's strange. Kevin Danzo was in possession, but Donyell Mallon trying to close him down, and Mallon gets the foul out of the situation. Bit strange, but okay. John McGinn will take this free kick for Aston Villa. Said Danzo was in possession. It seemed very strange. But McGinn with the delivery. Bouncing down and across. Spence chests it down. Bailey on the scene. And Tell will just usher that one out for a Spurs throw. On the left-hand side. Archie Gray tries to clear his lines and Concert try and press that space. Ended up putting the ball out for a Spurs throw. It's been a very intense start for Aston Villa. Which reminds me of the start they had against West Ham here in the Premier League game a few weeks ago, and they didn't score in that period. Had a bit of a struggle in that period against the Hammers in front of the goal, but they've already broken the deadlock. Spurs trying to get a bit of possession and some sort of control. Here's Matthias Tell. Back to Gray. Gotta give it wide to Spence, a bit overhit that one. Spence guides it back to Gray, and Gray will give it back to Antonin Kinski. Well, Spurs not known for their clean sheets recently. They did keep a clean sheet in that 2-0 win over Brentford last weekends, and then that 3-0 win over Elfsborg in the Europa League the game before that, but they conceded 4 against Liverpool, conceded 2 against Leicester, 2 against Hoffenheim, 3 against Everton, 2 against Arsenal. So they know it's not uncommon for Spurs to concede, and concede a lot. When you're conceding 2 and 3 in games, you really are scrapping and scraping for everything you can get, really. That already puts you on such a back foot that anything you try and do in a game, you're always 2 or 3 steps behind the opponent. And that's where Spurs have themselves in such a struggle recently. They give the opposition chances, and they give the opposition the opportunity to completely dominate and control the game and take full advantage of the Spurs' frailties at the back and take advantage of it. That's nice play down the right though from Spurs. Kulishevsky gives it back to Porro. Spray it back across to Gray, and now Spence. Matthias Tell here in the left hand side of the attack. Rolls it through for Son. Son gives it back to Matthias Tell. Wanted a flag there, Villa, but no flag has come. Here's Matthias Tell looking to cross it. Bouncing down in the box, but there's going to be a free kick given against Tottenham here on Boubacar Kamara. So free kick for Aston Villa in their own 18-yard box. Spurs with their up and down form in 2025 have lost 4 and won 5. Sorry, lost 5 and won 5 of their 10 games in this calendar year so far. Topsy-turvy, to say the very least. No consistency about the way Tottenham play at the minute. It's just really not all over the place, but there's just no consistency game to game. There's a wasteful ball out wide, and we'll go for an Aston Villa throw. And we just see the goal again from Jacob Ramsey. I mean, the goalkeeper should do so much better, Kinski. But at the same time, it's just Villa just carved their way through Tottenham, and there was no real kind of rebound or any kind of stopping from Spurs, really. They just let Villa roam through, and just really lacking physicality in the midfield. I mean, Bergvall jumped the gun and got absolutely sent by Morgan Rogers, and The space was there. I mean, I don't know where Pedro Porro even was for Tottenham in that goal, for the goal, because, I mean, he was nowhere to be seen. Down that right side. That's nicely won back though off Ramsey by Kulishevsky, but Bergvall opens his body too much and telegraphs that pass right out of play. As he was trying to find Mikey Moore, the young starlet for Tottenham. Digne playing across the sideline with Ramsey. Infield now to McGinn. Charging forward. Runs into body. Squares it across to Tielemans. He feeds it through. Ramsey trying to stride off bodies. Rodgers takes a heavy touch, but McGinn will receive it. Gives it out wide to Garcia. Now plays it on to Bailey. Leon Bailey back across to his captain McGinn. Back to Leon Bailey, who can chick a charge into the box. Chops onto his left. Bailey into the box. Tielemans taken down there. No foul, says the referee, but McGinn keeps it alive on the spin. Caught in possession. Konsa to keep it alive. Really good intensity from Villa. Even when they do lose the ball, there's always someone there ready to pounce to win it back. Really quality counter-pressing. As Rodgers comes away with the ball. Space down the left again here. Digne. Back to Rodgers. Now look at Digne. Villa just passing it around. With pace and quality at the moment. Precision. Oh, lovely flick by McGinn. Back to Konsa. The Spurs were trying to apply a press. So little added extras when you are being pressed that just helps the counter press a little bit. Takes the pressure off your own team really in possession. As McGinn, surrounded by four, still finds a pass to Ramsey. Now he delivers it out wide to Digne. Linking up with Jacob Ramsey. For infield to Rodgers. Plays it on now to Digne. It will get to the byline. Trying to cut it back across. Took a deflection. And will be another corner to Aston Villa. Again, it's really quality movement in and around the midfield of Villa. They're just passing it in between little gaps, and Spurs are just one or two steps behind Villa every single time. Villa are just so advanced at this minute in time. Spurs just really struggling to deal with those intricate little balls in between the lines as a cross delivered in. Up in the air by Bergvall from the corner. Bentancur tries to clear it away. Well nicked away by Garcia here. Driving into the box. Garcia will shoot. But he delivers that one far too wide and goes behind for a goal kick. Again, more positivity from Aston Villa. Andres Garcia, the 22-year-old Spaniard, joined Aston Villa for £5.8 million in the January window. Oh, great intensity there from Garcia to win it back again. And Bailey rolls through for Donyell Malen. Over the bar. Wow. Aston Villa. Spurs are at 6s and 7s. They cannot deal with this pressure. I mean, they're playing out from the back again. And Kinski just had to chip it out to his left winger and Tell. Completely intercepted. Really nice kind of progressive, kind of proactive pressing from Andres Garcia. He steps in, plays it to Bailey. Nice link up, through ball to Malen. And Malen strides into the box, and the shot was always rising. It wasn't too far over the bar. But again, that intensity from Aston Villa is causing Spurs problems time and time again. And it's not like it's a new thing. It's not like it's completely unexpected from a Spurs point of view. You're going to try and play it from the back. Villa are going to press you. And if you don't have the guaranteed out ball, you will be closed down. Lovely play by Villa. Rodgers down the right side to Bailey. Every time they come forward, they look a threat. Bailey arriving into the box, chops onto his left, curls it. Oh, what a save by Kinski. Great right-handed save to deny Leon Bailey. Still alive though with Malen. Ramsey. Wide to Digne. Now Tielemans. I'll give it back to Kamara. Again, Leon Bailey there, chopping onto his left and looking to curl one to that far corner, but it was a good save by Antonin Kinski. But Villa keep the pressure on here with McGinn. Tielemans through the lines. Ramsey lays it off to Mallon, who couldn't quite squeeze his way past Kevin Danzo. But Villa again instantly winning the ball back. It's one-way traffic at the moment. We're only 15 minutes gone. Villa 1 up. Probably should be 2 or 3 up from what we've seen so far. They've been all over Tottenham, and Tottenham have done nothing really to combat it at this minute in time. Just lying down and taking it at the minute, Tottenham. As that's a foul by Porro. At least he's put in a challenge, but give away the free kick to Jacob Ramsey. Yeah, Ramsey stepped in well, and Porro just caught the foot of the Villa man. Now, the last 2 times that these two met in the Premier League, Spurs have put 4 past Villa. 4-1 at the TH in November, and then 4-0 here at Villa Park in March of last year. Last time Villa beat Spurs at Villa Park was in May of 2023 when they won 2-1. Here they actually won 3 in a row in that little spell until Tottenham beat them in the last 2 meetings. Their next meeting is here at Villa Park on the second last game of the week of the season. Match day 37 of the Premier League on the 18th of May. They will meet again here, and who knows, by that point it could be a battle for Europe. Although for Spurs, the table isn't looking too kindly for them at the moment. 13 defeats on 27 points. Danzo just ushering that one out. It's good pressure from Ramsey, but good covering by Kevin Danzo. We let that one roll out for a Spurs goal kick. I think what Spurs need right now is just to have a little bit of possession, just to settle this game down. Oh, and look at this. Playing out from the back. Not gone far, that one. Kevin Danzo has to hook it clear. Again, it just goes out of play. Villa applying the press, but Spurs are just so naive in their... I mean, I get if you want to play it from the back, but if you're going to play it from the back from those positions, get the ball wide quickly. They're keeping it in the confines of their 18-yard box, and it's allowing Villa just to really suffocate them. And then they play these sprayed balls wide, and they're just going straight out of play. I mean, it's a really naive way of playing football to try and not get the ball wide quickly in those spaces. As Tielemans charging forward, beats past a man. Tielemans will hit, but just wide. Again, the space opened up for Tielemans. He held off his man. Again, it's really good work. Tielemans on the half turn, played in by Kamara. I'm trying to see that might have been Mikey Moore, or was it Bentancur? Sorry, might have been. It was on the cover, and he was nowhere near Tielemans. Just holds him off, the Villa midfielder, and space opens up for the shot. And he's hit them from distance before, Yuri Tielemans, and found the back of the net on a few occasions. That time he just dragged it wide of the left post. But Villa have had a hatful of chances in the first 18.5 minutes, and they only lead by a goal to nil. When Jacob Ramsey put them ahead after less than a minute, I think about 57 seconds if I was calculating correct, that was the official time for the goal. But it was in the first minute. At the home side took the lead as Tielemans there was taken down by Lucas Bergvall, and that's about 3 times that he's been a bit overcommittal in midfield. Lucas Bergvall, and another foul given away by him. Yeah, just chopping at the heels of Yuri Tielemans, and does take out the man. It is a foul. Remember, they had a gruelling match at Anfield on Thursday. That's no excuse for a poor game, but a lot of these players having to do the hard yards for quite a long time and quite a lot, and give everything for Spurs in such a tough spell. It will be difficult for them tonight. You know, it's not going to be an easy game against a good Villa side. We know that we've seen that so far, but Ange Postecoglou will be expecting a lot from his team tonight. To be competitive, even if they do go out, I'm sure he will want them to be very competitive and at least try and find some goals. As Mallon beats Danzo on the air, and Mallon plays it wide now to Ramsey. This could be another chance. Jacob Ramsey arriving! Oh, and just striking it wide of the right post. Again, another midfield run from Villa. It's just when they win the midfield battle, again, as this time it's actually Marlon and Danzo, so it's a battle between centre forward and centre back. And Danzo loses that battle in the air. Marlon on the turn, breaks forward, plays it into that gap again. Well, there's no one in cover for Tottenham down that right side. And Jacob Ramsey's ruling the roost down that side so far. He's having acres of space to drive into the box. There's just no one there to try and stop him. I mean, Pedro Porro's on the scene, but again, it's just outnumbered in their own defensive third, Spurs, as Gray tried to step forward, lost the ball. Here's Bailey down the right side. That's a good block by Lucas Bergvall. And now Tell will try and chip it forward for Son on the run, who is taken down the Spurs captain. And that will be a free kick to Tottenham for a foul off the ball by Boubacar Kamara. And a free kick for Tottenham around about the halfway line. It was a little bit better from Spurs. Stop the Villa attack in its tracks and try to get it forward quickly and get themselves a free kick in a good area. It was definitely a foul. Tried to make it look as accidental as possible there, Boubacar Kamara. But the referee was quick to it. Although the Spurs free kick comes to absolutely nothing, because the long ball forward goes right to Emi Martinez. There is the Tottenham owner, Daniel Levy. And there's the Tottenham manager, Ange Postecoglou. I mean, who do the fans really like more at this minute in time? It's like the best of a bad bunch at the minute for those Tottenham fans to deal with. Spence. All the way back to Danzo again. Spurs just trying to conjure up any sort of possession, any sort of real quality. So far they've been under the cosh. The first half of this first half. Aston Villa have had many's a chance to add to their lead. Not done so, and that gets Spurs, keeps them in this game. Matthias Tell down the left. Rolls it across now to Spence. And we'll get a free kick there. Well, Aston Villa, Jed Spence trying to break through, but committed the foul on Leon Bailey. And Anthony Taylor just having a word with Jed Spence there for that foul. Yeah, he just went over the ball there, Jed Spence. It's accidental. You can feel the sympathy for him, but it is a foul on Leon Bailey. It is a foul, no doubt. But it is. He just goes over the ball, Jed Spence. Again, really lovely arched balls in behind here. Here's Donyell Malen, rolls it through. Ramsey takes a heavy touch. The pace of the ball carries it away from Ramsey there, but another chance for Villa coming forward. Not able to convert it. Here's Kulishevsky. Game's opened up now. Mikey Moore breaking down the right side. This is a chance for Tottenham. Mikey Moore across. Son! What a save by Emi Martinez. Great save. First real time we've seen Spurs conjure something up in attack. Really nice play down the right side. Really fabulous through ball by Kulishevsky. Mikey Moore made the run. Played a lovely ball across to Heung-min Son central, who just side foots it with his right. Diving down to his right was Emi Martinez, who made a great save. Point blank range. And Heung-min Son, you should probably say, should be angling for one of the corners there. He knew the keeper was just going to throw himself at it, and he had to try and make it as difficult as possible for the Villa keeper. Maybe just makes it simple enough for Martinez to make the save, but it is a very, very good save. But this is a worry for Villa. They already have problems at centre-back, and Ezri Konsa is down at the moment, receiving treatment. And of course, Boubacar Kamara isn't a centre-back by trade. He's dropped in there from midfield because of the injuries to the likes of Pau Torres and Tyrone Mings for Aston Villa. That's not only their only defensive injuries. Axel Disasi as well is out. Matty Cash is out in defence. So there's four big seniors defenders for Villa that are already out. And Ezri Konsa is the only real other than him and Luca Dean, are the two main defensive options for Villa. So we see the Villa goal again from Jacob Ramsey. I mean, it's poor from the Spurs keeper, but at the same time, you know, Villa shouldn't be getting into that position from the kickoff, in the very first minute against Spurs. I mean, there was just no physicality whatsoever there. Villa will need to make a change. This is a worry. Ezri Konsa's up on his feet, but they're going to make this substitution. And I think it is actually... Yeah, he was chasing back Ezri Konsa towards his own goal for that Spurs chance that was saved by Martinez. And he just kind of pulled up as he got to the edge of his own box on the recovery. So Ezri Konsa's night is going to be curtailed here after 26 minutes. And it looks like Lamar Bogard is coming on. 21-year-old Dutchman. Joined Aston Villa in the summer from the youth team. He was on loan at Bristol Rovers last season and a few seasons ago. Has made a couple of appearances this season in the Premier League, 5 to be exact. His last coming in their last Premier League outing for Villa against Wolves. Also made an appearance in the FA Cup game against Liverpool back in January of 2021. That was his one and only FA Cup appearance for this club. And he makes another one tonight. Oh, given away there in the box there by Villa. Well charged down on Mikey Moore by Luca Digne. Looked to be, I think, Tielemans that got caught on the ball, I believe. Villa maybe a bit awkward at the back there. So it will be a throw in to Spurs. Well, despite that really awful start and really tough start for Spurs defensively, they've actually held Villa just to 1 goal, which keeps them... I mean, they're very much in this game, and Ezri Konsa going out injured, it might cause a bit of a shakiness to the Villa back line. A long way to go, and Spurs are not out of this yet. Archie Gray. Danza. Porro well closed down, but Tielemans doesn't get the break of the ball, and the ball in behind. Too much. Too much that time from the Spurs defence. The ball will go all the way back to Martinez. Well, Heung-min Son's effort is Spurs' only attempt of the game so far. It's their only shot. A side that didn't register a shot on target against Liverpool on Thursday night. Quite a dismal performance in front of goal for Tottenham. Not much better at the back either, as I said, conceding 4, but just were nowhere in that game against Liverpool on Thursday, and I'm sure Ange Postecoglou will be wanting a response to what was an awful night, but the response he's getting at the moment isn't quite good, because here comes Bailey. Bailey into the box, good save by Kinski, followed up and wide from Ramsey. They are pummeling the Spurs goal every time they come forward, Villa. And it is probably a crime against football that they haven't scored more than 1 goal yet. Rodgers with a lovely ball through. Again, the spaces are gaping holes in the Spurs defence. And the gaps they're giving up between midfield and defence is ridiculous. And Villa are exploiting it time and time and time again. And Rodgers with the through ball. Bailey and Malin and Ramsey have the whole pitch to themselves, basically. Spurs don't want to engage. They're backing off and backing off. And they're just running towards goal and getting shots off. As I said, it's just a bit of a crime against football that Villa haven't scored another goal yet. With the chances they've created, I'm sure Unai Emery would have been hoping by this point there probably would have been 2 or out of the 3rd, with the chances they've been creating. Still only 1-0. Their dominance in front of goal isn't turning to being clinical at this moment in time. Danza. Now out to Pedro Porro. Looking for the switch ball. Lots of space for Matthias Tell, although he kind of slips there. Does get the ball. Ahead of Garcia. Plays it well into Spence. Now Bentancur. Out to the right side is Mikey Moore. Gets the ball from Porro. Mikey Moore now. Plays it across to Kulishevsky. Looking for options. Well charged down. Marlon trying to step in and skips his way past Danzo, but he can't keep it in play. 30 minutes gone at Villa Park. Aston Villa 1, Spurs 0. Goal coming after 57 seconds. Here's Bergvall to shoot, but he shoots wayward and nowhere near threatening Emi Martinez. Well, we talked about Spurs' form. Aston Villa lost their last outing away at Wolves, so big win for the Premier League side that were in the bottom three. Wolves going into that game against Villa, 2-0 victory for Wolverhampton Wanderers. Bellegarde and Cunha with the goals. Jean-Richner Bellegarde, of course, the Frenchman, scoring a big goal in that one, and then Matheus Cunha wrapping it up. Unai Emery would have been very disappointed with that result. And wanting a response here, because here they come again. Aston Villa, and the shot from distance. Good save by Kinski, followed up and over the bar by Marlon. Again, it was Rodgers this time with a shot. Kinski diving, made the save, it parried out to Marlon, who tried to take it first time and skied it over the bar. Again, runs from midfield. Again, the Spurs defence stepping off. No one with any great kind of intensity trying to track back from midfield, and it's really poor. I mean, they're carving Spurs open time and time again. And I mean, this will be turned into a negative for Villa if they can't take these chances that they're creating. If they cannot find that second goal, Spurs will only grow in belief that they're very much in this game, and despite Villa having all those shots, they're only still 1-0 ahead, and this game's well attainable at a comeback. But if Aston Villa find a second goal, that might settle them a little bit more and give them a little bit more confidence, because at 1-0, nothing's certain. Most definitely not. Against the Spurs side, who have no trouble finding the net. That's no doubt about that. They are one of the top scorers in the Premier League this season, Tottenham, so they've no trouble putting the ball in the net. It's just about keeping out of their own net that's been an issue for them. And so far, Anton Kinski's made a couple of good saves where he's needed to. Because again, Spurs could have been in more bother. Could have been more than one down at this stage. But Lucas Bergvall now, trying to get Spurs a chance to level. Moore trying for the cross. Well blocked. Will be at Spurs corner, their first of the game. Won that side by Pedro Porro. Corner on the right side. Porro, who won it, will take it. Delivers. Handed away by Tielemans, not fully cleared as Ramsey will get it away. Spence now hits it off Donyell Malen. That's caused a bit of an upset as Gray couldn't take it down. Kamara couldn't either. And the runner behind, well tracked by Luca Digne against Heung-min Son. Again, a bit of chaos there. Villa couldn't get control, and Spurs tried to snatch something with the ball in behind for Son, but it was well tracked by the Villa left back Luca Digne. Tell down the left to Bergvall. And has to go back to Spence. Gray. Across to Danzo. Tracked by Donyell Malen, and the ball all the way back with Anton Kinski. Just over 10 minutes of the first half remain. Villa 1, Spurs 0. Gray. Trying to fizz one in behind for Tell to chase, but as he tried to get forward, he rattled and wrestled Andres Garcia to the ground, and that will be a free kick to Aston Villa. Of course, Matthias Tell's had a bit of drama with his transfer to Tottenham, joining on loan from Bayern Munich till the end of the season, but with the option for Spurs to buy him in the summer window for an agreed fee. I think around about £40 million is the agreed fee for the option to buy Matthias Tell. But of course, remember, a few days before he signed on loan, he said he didn't want to play for Spurs. He said he'd rather play for Manchester United, but is now in a Spurs shirt and is making his first senior start this evening. So far hasn't had really much to get on the ball with so far, because here comes Morgan Rogers with Villa. Lovely faint ball, and Ramsey couldn't get it across to Malin. Good chance. That time, a bit fortunate there, Spurs, but they got bodies in the way. Mikey Moore trying to strive in field and taken out there by Yuri Tielemans. That will be a Spurs free kick. Striding across, took a little faint little touch there, Mikey Moore. It is a foul by Yuri Tielemans, who's just a little bit late on that one. Porro. Moore back to Danso. Now Bentancur. Looking for options ahead of him, can't find anybody, has to swing it out to Spence at left back. Now Tell. Matthias Tell, hounded by Leon Bailey. And well won back by Leon Bailey, that ball, as Garcia, given a bit of a tough time by Bergvall, but he wins the throw. Does Andres Garcia. Yeah, it's fabulous play by Leon Bailey. You know, usually we see wingers sometimes very reluctant to do their defensive duties, but that was really impressive from Leon Bailey. Did well there. Well, Villa have given up the possession. Again, Porro. Kulusevski. Bentancur. Cross to Gray. Now down the left. Comes Tell. Drives infield. Takes Tell. Trying to swing it round the back post. Digne with a clearance. Brought down by Porro. He will whip it in. But deep. As Garcia chests it down and clears it of danger. And climbing all over Daniel Malin there was Archie Gray. There will be a free kick to Aston Villa. They want more. The Villa fans, the Villa captains on the scene very quickly. I mean, they both had a grapple of each other, both hold of each other, and then Archie Gray, trying to stretch to get the ball, kind of mounts the back of Daniel Malin like he's trying to mount a camel. I mean, it's interesting defending, to say the very least, from Archie Gray, but needs must to try and get the ball, but he gave away a foul. Quite a simple decision for Anthony Taylor there to give the free kick. That's lovely from Kamara. He was under pressure there. That's just a funny moment. That will be remembered in the highlights. That Archie Gray trying to battle for the ball there with Daniel Malin. Well, just a wee bit rattled at the moment. A couple of sloppy passes, diminishing the little bit of control that Villa have had. And that was good battling. Getting more applause from the home crowd. Spurs trying to battle back, but Villa holding firm. Danzo. Kulusevski. Linking up with Porro, but comes crashing in, does Digne, but he doesn't get the ball. And Kulusevski now has space, and the ball in behind. Son made the run. Martinez was committed and thumped it away. It's good work from the Villa goalkeeper. Spurs maybe having a bit of joy before half-time here. Danzo striding forward. Finds it to Tell. 1-2 link-up. Danzo again tries to send Tell on a run down the left. Too much. Goal kick. Again, it's another good moment from Spurs. It actually comes from that, again, long whip ball from the right side. It's where their shot on target came a bit earlier on when Mikey Moore made the cross. towards Son. This time, similar situation. Long, wide on the sidelines. And I think it was Porro that made the cross this time. But Martinez well aware of what happened last time. And he was committed. And got there ahead of the Spurs captain, Heung-min Son. Got the ball clear of danger. But that was another nice little glimpse for Spurs of what they can have in attack. Malen on the press. Not upsetting Archie Gray or Antonin Kinski there on the ball. Oh, Tell. Oh, just about getting it to Bentancur as Rodgers was trying to press. Less than 5 minutes to go. Spurs have certainly had a lot more of the ball in the last couple of minutes. But again, a lot of the ball in and around the halfway line. Not really progressing against Aston Villa into the final third, are Spurs at the moment. And Villa aren't cruising, but by far have had more than enough chances to have more than a 1-goal lead anyway in this one. Still 1-0 to Aston Villa though, despite those many chances. That's a lovely switch ball. Garcia skips away from a challenge, and now the move is on here for Villa. Bailey down the right side. Garcia on the overlap. Garcia nipped that there. And that was good from Rodrigo Bentancur on the cover, just to slightly unsettle Andreas Garcia as he arrived in the box. And we'll go out for a goal kick to Tottenham. Better from Bentancur, but again, diving in was Jed Spence on the challenge. It left the gap in the space down the left side, or the right side, for Villa to exploit. And they needed the cover, did Spurs, and they had the cover on that occasion. Kulusevski couldn't keep the ball. McGinn, wide left is Ramsey. Bodies in the middle. Ramsey skips away from one challenge. Heavy touch, took it away from him as Bentancur recovered it for Spurs. Kulusevski on the turn. Kamara committed in a challenge, drags him to the ground, but no foul, says the referee. As here is Tielemans. Now Malen. Donyell Malen striding his way into the box. Malen with a cutback, no one there. I think the whistle went anyway for offside, maybe against Donyell Malen. It was. So, a couple of minutes to go in the first half. It's been possession's been fairly even. I mean, 52% to 48 for Villa. So minimal difference in possession-wise, but the difference in shots is unreal. 10 shots for Aston Villa, just 2 for Tottenham. And Villa have had forced Kinski to make 3 saves already in this first half. They only counted as having 1 big chance, Aston Villa, in this first half, which they missed according to the stats. They've had 4 shots on target. Spurs with just the one. That Son shot that was saved by Martinez, their only shot on target of the first half. Spurs, but Villa probably more than enough to be further ahead. Trying to go for the overlapping link up there between Ramsey and Digne. It didn't come off the first time, but they will get the throw in out of it, Aston Villa, down this left hand side. Reminder for you, at half time we will recap what we've seen already in the FA Cup 4th round so far, in the already completed 13 ties that have already been decided, and the 13 teams that have booked their place into round 5 already this weekend. We'll have a recap of them all and look ahead to what round 5 will have to offer and what possible matchups we could get. We'll all tell you the ball numbers ahead of tomorrow's draw as well. So a lot to get through at half time here at Villa Park. As we enter the final 30 seconds, the first 45, we will be added time to come as well before the whistle goes from the referee, Anthony Taylor. Long ball forward, Ramsey couldn't get on the end of it, as Kinski will retrieve for Spurs. Well, the travelling Spurs fans who've come a long way up from North London to Birmingham. Oh, given away here. They were still singing. Malin hits it wide. Hits the side netting. Again, we were cutting away to the Spurs fans there for a second. And as the camera cut back, Villa were on the break. It was Kinski playing out from the back. Archie Gray tries to play it into midfield. Cheap giveaway to Leon Bailey. Bailey threads it through for Daniel Malin. And Malin from the narrow angle hits the side netting. But again, another occasion. I mean, this time it was an unforced error from Archie Gray because there was no real press from Aston Villa. It was just an awful forward pass. But again, it's playing out from the back from Spurs. It's not only when they're under pressure, they're making unforced errors now, which is more of a concern for Ange Postecoglou than actually making errors under pressure. That's lovely from Matthias Tell, though. Bit of individual quality might help Spurs out here. Switch ball out to the right side. Kulishevsky of the 2 added minutes. There's 1 left of this first half. Moore tries to thread it through. Porto keeps it alive. Now Bergval round the corner to Spence. Takes a touch infield. Jed Spence will shoot. But right at the hands of Emi Martinez. Have to be some cracking effort if it was going to beat Emi Martinez from that type of distance. From Jed Spence. It's another shot on target at least for Tottenham. Bit of stat padding before half time. Martinez will send it long with a couple of seconds to go. And that will go long, deep into Tottenham's half, where they will have a throw in there, the visitors. There it is, the end of the first half. 47 minutes down, another 45 possibly to come in the second half. But at this moment in time, there is no doubting which of these two teams has been the better in the first half. A Spurs side that were thumped 4-0 3 days ago come into this tough game at Villa Park, and they're lucky to be only 1-0 down at the break. Aston Villa have had a hatful of chances and some. Should be more than one ahead, but they got their only goal of the first half when Jacob Ramsey found the back of the net in less than a minute, 57 seconds. But that was to be the only goal of the half. Half-time at Villa Park in this FA Cup 4th round tie. It is Aston Villa 1, Spurs 0. Analysis and a recap of the round so far on the way next.
They call me a god. They call me a god. They call me a god.
I'm about to go off like a weapon. Fuel to the top, got a filled up engine.
Welcome back to FA Cup Live. Half-time at Villa Park. It's Aston Villa 1, Tottenham 0, but it probably should be more to Aston Villa at half-time because they have been all over Tottenham, who again have put in a very poor first half in that one. It has really not been impressive at this moment in time from Tottenham defensively. They've been lucky that their goalkeepers made a couple of good saves, that they aren't further behind. Aston Villa probably, as I said in that verse, have a crime against football that they probably aren't further ahead. Jacob Ramsey did give Villa their only goal of the first half inside the first minute of the game. 57 seconds is what I've calculated. It's not the official time, but that's what I've gathered from the clock as to what the goal was. And again, it's probably the goal is exactly what Villa have done for all of their chances, all of their really good movements. Just empty midfield from Tottenham. No one tracking the midfield runners. Really nice little bit of skill by Rodgers. But again, lots of space down the right side of the Spurs defence. I mean, Porro nowhere to be seen. Far too passive against Jacob Ramsey. And then the goalkeeper makes an absolute howler of an effort. But how easy it was from Villa from the very off against Tottenham is just basically criminal. You know, from the very first minute, you're in a game where you want to kind of respond from what happened in midweek. You know, we're thumped 4-0 in a semi-final. And then you come into this one today trying to prove a point against a good Premier League side in Aston Villa, a tough place to go. This is your chance to prove a point. And you've actually probably been worse in that first half than you were 3 days ago. You know, yes, you've had a shot on target, but defensively, you know, their press has been all over the place, Tottenham, and I said it the whole way through that first half. When you don't track midfield runners against the side who love to cause problems in transition, you know, we talk about Aston Villa all the time. Their biggest strength is when they've got bodies running towards goal, when they're charging from around about the halfway line with really pacey players, and they've got four incredible quality players charging forward time and time and time again. And Spurs are getting nowhere near the ball. The gap between the Spurs defence and the midfield is like a gaping hole. I mean, there's just no one in that space where Villa are picking up the ball with Rodgers and the likes. And then when they get into the final third, Villa, they're hitting shots right away. Spurs are just stepping off and off and off and allowing them the chance. Say, do you know what, go ahead, have a shot, because we're not going to engage. Far too, standoffish from Tottenham in that first half. I mean, if you expect to come to Villa Park and not press well enough in that first half and expect to come away with anything other than a drubbing, you're really much more naive and much more stupid than you take yourself for half the time, because Spurs in this first half, I didn't want to be too harsh on them in that first half, but you got to be honest in what you're saying. It's not even kids football, this. It's just throwing challenges in. It's just, I mean, chaos. If they have a tactical system, if they have a tactical way of playing, if they do training, if they work on things in training out of possession, I mean, they're doing a very good job of hiding it, because, I mean, there's no press. There's no kind of trying to be compact, trying to get bodies in the mix. There's just nothing from Spurs out of possession. And Villa are having free roam. I mean, they may as well, I don't know. They really, honestly, it's just been awful from Tottenham. And again, it's not something new. You know, you've been watching this for weeks and weeks and weeks on end, and this torrid run that Spurs have been on, and they're expecting something different to come from doing the exact same things every single week. And I get difference in the semi-final against Liverpool in midweek. They were a bit more kind of defensively solid, maybe tried to be a bit more defensively solid, and then Ange Postecoglou was kind of criticised for not being progressive enough. But tonight, I don't know. I don't even think they know what they're meant to be doing. Whether they're meant to be pressing high, pushing forward, or whether they're meant to be standing off, because there's just a complete disconnect between the Spurs midfield and the defence. There's just no cohesion, no communication, no kind of trying to stop Aston Villa. They're just having free roam of the pitch. And I'm sure Unai Emery's in the kind of changing room at the moment going, how the hell are we not further ahead? Because the many chances that Aston Villa have had in that first half, they probably should be 2, 3, 4, 5 up. Maybe that's a bit much, but when you look at it, they've had 11 shots, 4 on target. They've had a couple wide. They've had 7 shots off target, Aston Villa. So it's not like Spurs are getting bodies in the way and blocking a lot of the shots. It's just, at times, Villa have been poor in front of goal. At times, made a couple of saves from Kinski. But it's not like Spurs have been getting bodies in the way and blocking those shots. They've been all over the place, Tottenham, and they're lucky to still be in this FA Cup tie, because if Villa were able to be clinical in the final third on a consistent basis in this game, they would be well out of it and hoping to keep the score down, really, in the second half. But they're still in it, and that's, I wouldn't say credit to Spurs. I would say to the fact that lucky to be still in it, and there's a chance for them in the second half. They come out quick, they get the ball to Son, they get a chance, maybe get an equaliser, and you never know what could happen. But if they come out in the second half and don't make any changes, don't change their approach and don't actually try and get bodies to the ball and press the right way, they will be completely destroyed. Massively. And, I mean, Aston Villa haven't had to be at top level to get those chances. It's as simple as that. Right, we were meant to recap the whole weekend so far, but we have really went in on that Aston Villa and Spurs analysis at half-time, mainly on how bad Spurs have been. 6.5 minutes to go until the second half gets underway, but let's recap what we've seen in the FA Cup so far this weekend. Started on Friday night when Manchester United, the holders, left it late, but did beat Leicester, albeit that goal that was scored late on by Harry Maguire was offside, but no VAR. In the fourth round of the FA Cup, but they came from 1-0 down through Bobby Reid's goal for Leicester, but Xerxes and Maguire putting Man United through to the next round. Leeds beaten at home by Millwall, fellow Championship side there. Femi Aziz with both goals to knock Leeds out of the cup. City had to come from behind after a cracking goal, albeit an own goal from Stephen Ortega, but a great shot from Jimmy Donnelly of Leyton Orient to give them the lead, but an equaliser from Kusanov and a De Bruyne winner had City through. Bournemouth beat Everton at Goodison, only a second defeat under David Moyes since he returned to Goodison Park, and both have come at home. Antoine Semenyo with a penalty and Daniel Jebison with a second for Bournemouth had them cruising through to round 5. Preston needed penalties to get past Wickham. They won by 4 penalties to 2 after a 0-0 draw inside 120 minutes. Burnley of the Championship knocked out Premier League Southampton. How long are Southampton going to be Premier League? Who knows? Marcus Edwards with the winner there for Burnley. Cardiff needed penalties to see off Stoke in that all-Championship battle. It was a cracking game overall. 3-3 on Saturday, but a 4-2 victory on penalties for Cardiff. Fulham had to come from behind against League One Wigan when Rodrigo Muniz with both goals for Fulham there. Ipswich made easy work of Coventry there, winning by 4-1 against Coventry at the Coventry Building Society Arena. Newcastle were held close against Birmingham here at St Andrews over the weekend. A cracking first half, which saw some great goals. Ethan Laird put Birmingham 1 up inside a minute. 2 goals from Newcastle, a bit controversial, but that doesn't matter. And Tomoki Iwata with probably the goal of the round with an absolute perler to level things, but a third goal from Joe Willock for for Newcastle, saw Newcastle into round 5. Brighton came from behind. Bart Verbruggen with a howler after 5 minutes gave Chelsea the lead. Georgina Rutter equalised not long after before Karu Mitoma scored the ultimate winner to knock Chelsea out and put Brighton through. And then today, Wolves have beaten Blackburn by 2-0. João Gomez and Mateus Cunha with both goals there. But the tie of the round, the game of the round, and probably the result of the FA Cup this season sees the Premier League leaders Liverpool being knocked out of the FA Cup by Championship trailers, bottom of the Championship side, Plymouth, by 1-0 at home park. Ryan Hardy's penalty in the second half knocked out Premier League Liverpool, and they have fallen to a big upset. Arne Slot's team, only their 4th defeat of the season, Liverpool, but some big saves late on from Connor Hazard, the Plymouth goalie, kept them in it and kept them going through to round 5. Incredible scenes at home park. Right, still to come this weekend. Doncaster Rovers host Premier League Crystal Palace tomorrow evening. Before that, the 5th round draw. Before on Tuesday night, we round off round 4 with Nottingham Forest trip to Exeter. So 2 Premier League sides looking to book their place away at lower league opposition. Can there be more upsets? We will see. As I was mentioning, round 5, the draw for which takes place tomorrow evening. We'll have the results of that around about 7:15 or so, in and around that time tomorrow evening for the 5th round draw of the FA Cup. And Manchester United, the holders, are through, and they're looking for a nice tie in round 5. But the teams already through to round 5 are as follows: Manchester United, Millwall, Manchester City, Bournemouth, Preston, Burnley, Cardiff, Fulham, Ipswich, Newcastle, Brighton, Wolves, Plymouth are all through, and then any side out of the 6 that still remain battling for 3 places, we will see. Draw tomorrow, and we'll have the details of that for you. But before that, we'll see which of these 2 Premier League sides will be going through to round 5, Villa or Tottenham. Villa 1 up, probably should be more, but it's only 1-0 at the break, and the second half is on the way very shortly. Do stay with us.
They call me a god. They call me a god. They call me a god. They call me a god.
Let's go. I'm about to go off like a weapon. Fuel to the top, got a filled up engine.
Welcome back to FA Cup Live. The 4th round continues this evening for our final tie of the rounds here on LFS. As Aston Villa currently lead Tottenham by a 1-0 at the break. Jacob Ramsey's goal after just 57 seconds in the first half has Aston Villa ahead. But Spurs, no. Big second half could change things for their favour. We will see if Ange Postecoglou's team can battle back and get back into this one, because it's been all Aston Villa, and really Spurs lucky to not be further behind at the break, as it looks like they're going to make a change here at Spurs. Looks like Yves Bissouma is going to be coming on. So Bissouma will be coming on in midfield. And we believe Mikey Moore, the 17-year-old youngster, is the one that's going to be replaced. So it looks like Kulishevsky will go to the right. Bergvall will probably play in the 10. And then Bissouma will just drop into midfield where Lucas Bergvall was playing. A bit of a tweak, bit of change for Spurs. They needed it. They needed more control in that midfield. They were getting no pressure on the ball whatsoever in that first half. And could this change be a boost for them as we get the second half underway here at Villa Park? 1-0 to Aston Villa at the break. So we get the second half going. And we'll see if they can put Spurs to the sword, or can Tottenham find a comeback. Big second half on the cards. Porro. Kulishevsky. Back to Bentancur. Oh, that's an awful ball. Bentancur, no one anywhere there for Spurs intently enough to win it back, as that's well crowded out from the run of Leon Bailey. And that was an awful ball by Bentancur right across his midfield, and no one there to pick it up. And he was lucky that he had men in cover, and Leon Bailey had nowhere to go but into a sea of white shirts. It's a good challenge by Kevin Danzo. Does get a clip on Bailey, but it's not a foul. It's a good challenge. Something that Spurs weren't doing enough of in the first half. But it was an awful ball. I would rather not give away a cheap ball like that. But when it's needed, they have got pressure on the ball there, and they did get it clear of dangers. Bailey is okay. He was down there for a second. He is okay. Will be a Villa throw down the left side though, which Luca Digne will take. Well, a big task for Villa in this second half is to take your chances when they come. Be clinical. Well, they've given away the ball from that throw. Well won by Tielemans. Now out wide, Garcia has the ball. They wanted the advantage there, Villa, but the referee's just going to pull it back for a foul, and Villa slightly complaining. Lucas Bergvall kind of claiming his innocence there against Morgan Rogers. He does kind of clip him. It's not major contact, but it is a foul by Lucas Bergvall, and it's a number of fouls he's committed in this game so far. I think the Villa fans and the Villa players are a bit unhappy that Lucas Bergvall hasn't received a yellow card yet. For the amount of chances that he's given away, that was his 4th foul of the game. So just the one change at half-time for Tottenham, no changes for Villa. Yves Bissouma on for Mikey Moore, that's the only substitution. And a much needed one for Spurs considering their first half performance. Ramsey, nice ball round the corner. Digne skips past his man in Porro. Has Kulishevsky for company. And Dejan Kulishevsky does well and battling Luka Digne. Still tussling as they continue into midfield. Kulishevsky sustains the ball. Bentancur. Back to Porro. And across to Archie Gray. That was better from Tottenham. A bit more combativeness in that midfield. Better at winning the ball back there. Bissouma. Kulishevsky. Well, Villa are without a clean sheet in 5. So that will bode well for Spurs. And the fact that Villa haven't kept the ball out of the back of their own net since a 1-0 win at Everton on the 15th of January. Conceded 2 against Arsenal, conceded against Monaco, West Ham, Celtic and Wolves. And actually have gone their last 2 defeats, although Villa have been without scoring. Actually their last 3 defeats, they've all gone without scoring a goal. Away at Newcastle, away at Monaco and away at Wolves. The last home defeat, Aston Villa, was a long time ago. When they lost 2-1 in the Carabao Cup back in October against Crystal Palace. In that one, that's 2-1. And here's a chance in behind for Heung-min Son, whose shot was well charged down in the box there by the retreating Bogard. Makes a good challenge against Heung-min Son. Was beaten initially, but Lamar Bogard got a really important touch to that before Heung-min Son could take the shot, and it goes behind for Spurs corner. Again, Son making those runs in behind. Kulishevsky to take this corner, left-footed, flicked up with the near post, not cleared away. That one is cleared away by McGinn. Kept alive by Tell. He will chip into the box. Round the back with Son, but Digne alert and headed it behind for another Spurs corner. Already Spurs' 3rd corner of the game, more than they had in the first half. They had 2. Have already had 2, but this is more than the first half where they had just the 1. Kulishevsky to take this corner then. Left-footed again. Headed away at the near post, but actually headed on to a Villa man who has gone down. Spurs keep the attack going. Swung back into the box, but Martinez will gather. But there will be a stoppage here for a head injury for a Villa man. All the players surrounding the Villa player and the medical staff right onto the field. I can't see through the bodies of players who it is. It's Luka Digne that's down. Actually just saw a glimpse, but it was actually Villa heading away from the corner from the Kulishevsky cross. It was headed away at the front post, but straight onto the head of Luka Digne, who got a full whack at the ball and went straight to ground. So he is receiving treatment at the moment, Luka Digne. Well, the last thing Unai Emery needs is more injuries to his defence. Well, of course, Ange Postecoglou made the claim this season, and he always wins a trophy in his second season at the club. Well, he's still got 2 more opportunities after they were knocked out of the Carabao Cup semi-finals in midweek. He's still got the FA Cup and the Europa League to lift the trophy this season. If he does win the FA Cup with Spurs this season, Postecoglou will move them on to 9 trophies in the FA Cup, and they will move to 3rd for all-time wins in the competition. Manchester United on 13, Arsenal on 14 FA Cup trophies. But of course, maybe a realistic hope. Villa can probably go deep in this competition and maybe try and win it. Get themselves to a Wembley final. They were in the 2000 final. Aston Villa. Of course, beaten on that day. As Luca Digne's back to his feet, by the way. So he's will be poised to return. They were beaten by Chelsea in that FA Cup final, by the way, Villa. So Digne will return shortly. So here is Garcia back to Bogard. Now Kamara. Nicely nipped away there by Kulishevsky. He tried to find Ramsey. Did Kamara. Here's Bergvall. A little bit more incisiveness about Spurs. They are trying to get in the way of things now, which is pretty basic, but considering where they were in the first half, it is a big improvement. Nice chop across by Porro. Onto his right foot. Gets to the byline. Cuts it back. Heung-min Son in the box. Lays it off. The shot charged down. Why did he not take the shot? Will be a corner to Spurs, but why did Heung-min Son not take that shot? I mean, fabulous play by Porro. Jinxes man. Past Tielemans. Gets to the byline. Cuts it back. And Son's there on the penalty level with the penalty spot. A bit of freedom around him. Could take a touch and shoot. But he passes it off to Basuma and it's blocked behind for a corner. I'm surprised that Heung-min Son didn't take that shot. Very surprised. So another corner. Porro will deliver this time. Right footed. Will be a nice swinging corner. Swung. Right across goal. Flick to keep it alive. Bergvall brings it down. Bergvall across. Bubbling around the box. Kamara gets it clear. Not convincing there from Villa. Spurs have had a little bit of a good spell since starting the second half. Decent response to what was a really dreadfully poor first half, although given away there by Basuma. Now McGinn down the right side. Lays it off to Bailey. Bailey on the charge. Up against Spence. That's a good challenge by Jed Spence. And back it comes the other way for Spurs. Spence battled there with, but fairly, said the referee, as Spence went to ground. That was better from Tottenham. Much better. Much better energy. Ramsey. Nice ball out wide to Leon Bailey, who will charge. Garcia on the overlap. Here is Andres Garcia with a cross. Oh, just evaded the on-running Jacob Ramsey. And Spurs come away with the ball. Bentancur rolls it through the legs of the Villa midfielder there, Rodgers, as it comes out wide from Bissouma. Out wide to Kulishevsky. Better from Spurs. Kulishevsky trying to curl it to the far corner. And it was well caught by Emi Martinez. Much more open game now. Spurs looking more threatening. Not only in attack, but looking much more combative. Much more physical against Aston Villa. Not letting them roam around the field with pure freedom. There is pressure on the ball. That time a bit too much pressure from Rodrigo Bentancur, which has got a free kick for Aston Villa. Yeah, it's much better, albeit it ends up a foul, but that's much better intensity from Spurs, and they don't get the rewards of it that time, but that type of pressure might just unsettle Villa a little bit more, and you never know. One of those kind of decisions could go your way. You get the break of the ball, and you never know what could happen. But better pressure from Spurs. They were nowhere near the level in the first half, but they've been better so far in this second period, and There's the pressure working again, but Villa just about getting it back. Well, they've given it away again. Kulishevsky almost making something of that as Kamara clears it from danger. But Villa have looked a lot more nervous at the back since Spurs started to press the ball. And press it in the right areas. Tottenham. Bentancur. Bergvall. I mean, it was basics that Spurs were doing wrong in that first half. They were giving the ball away cheaply. They weren't pressing the ball out of possession. They were allowing Aston Villa to roam in their own half and have complete freedom. And they were far too passive. They were nowhere near combative enough. That's a lovely turn by McGinn. Threat here. Threaded it through. Jacob Ramsey! Oh, good save by Kinski, and it's put behind for a goal kick off Ramsey on the rebound. Another good chance for Villa. That time it was just a fabulous bit of skill from John McGinn in the midfield. Breaking through, arrowed it through. Porro couldn't receive it or kind of recover or block it. It falls through to Ramsey, edge of the box, left-footed strike. Good save by Kinski, committed himself, came forward and blocked the ball. It went out for a goal kick off the rebound off Ramsey. But on that occasion, it wasn't a Spurs mistake that led to a good Aston Villa move. It was just really beautiful skill by the Villa captain, John McGinn, in the midfield. But Antonin Kinski has certainly stood up and stood strong for Spurs all the way throughout. That's his 4th save of the game. Incredible. And he's made some big saves. They're big saves he's made. They're not little simple ones. They're really good saves. Son. Clipped that there by Kamara. Will be a throw in the Spurs on the right side. Thrown in by Porro. To Bentancur now. Bissouma. Nice little work by Porro, but Son couldn't keep the ball. Tielemans lays it off now to McGinn, and now on the charge is Rodgers. Battling there was Bentancur, but Rodgers is still going and held back now. That will be a free kick, and that will be a yellow card for Rodrigo Bentancur, no doubt about it. You didn't even need the referee to bring his card out. You knew it was going to be a booking for Rodrigo Bentancur there. He got full grapple and full hold on Morgan Rodgers, who was trying to burst away. But again, taking one for the team. In the first half, Rodrigo Bentancur wouldn't have took that risk. He would have just said, you know what, run. It wouldn't have been as combative. He wouldn't have got involved. And it would have been a simple run for Villa. But again, it's better from Spurs. At least they're competing. At least they're battling and being physical with Aston Villa, because they were just showing none of that in the first half. And for the 15 minutes of this second half, they've been much more even game, because Spurs have just done the basics right. With 30 minutes to go, this game is still very far from over. Villa only 1-0 up, and with such amount of time remaining on the clock, there's no doubting this game is still in the balance. Especially with that long kick from Martinez. We'll go out for a Spurs throw. Trying for the ambitious switch ball there, Spurs. And as Bailey got on the ball, that's actually a foul, or not a foul, an offside against Matthias Tell, which gets Villa a free kick in their own half here. Threaded through first time to Ramsey, who's on the run, battling away past Bergvall, who's going to get give away a free kick, and he's going to get a yellow. Lucas Bergvall. But it's not just that singular foul. I did mention Lucas Bergvall lucky to not be on a yellow from earlier, because that's his 5th foul he's conceded in the game. It's just accumulation of fouls has got Lucas Bergvall booking. He's the second Spurs man to be booked in the last couple of minutes. In as many minutes. So a little bit of a conference there between a few Villa players to figure out what they're going to do from this free kick. It's Tielemans from about 40 yards. Or sorry, not 40 yards, that's a bit excessive. Probably about 35 yards. Long distance. Tielemans will certainly deliver it, but to where? Tielemans feeds it out to the right side. Bit of a training ground one as it's whipped round the back post. Easy catch for Kinski. He rolls it out to Kulishevsky, not giving time on the ball, and that's good pressure by Tielemans, but he does give away the throw. But that's the little things that make the difference that Spurs have started to do in the second half, but Villa have been doing the whole way through. Is those little, even if they don't win something out of it, they're still keeping pressure on the opponent by not giving them freedom to run. And that's where you are vulnerable. When you just let the team run free. As there might be some debutants coming on here for Villa. I mean, it looks like it's pre-planned, but it's going to be some exciting game. They've already got 4 fabulous attackers on the fields at Villa, and they're going to make some attacking substitutes. You ever heard of these young boys? Marcus Rashford and Marco Asensio are the two that are warming themselves up and getting ready on the sidelines to be introduced here for Villa for the very first time. Both on loan till the end of the season. And Villa want to make sure their attack keeps going, because here's Donyell Malen, gives it wide. Bailey in the box, Leon Bailey rolling around, Malen across, off the line, and followed up and in by Morgan Rogers. The Villa front four all combine to create what was a fantastic but scrappy team goal to double their lead. And just as they were going to make attacking changes, their attack that's been on the field for the last 64 minutes gets another goal and doubles the Aston Villa lead. And Tottenham's task has just got harder. Morgan Rogers scoring again. And his form this season has been quite incredible for the 22-year-old. Marking a year at Aston Villa with another wonderful goal. It's just really, really good play. Fabulous team football. Malen to Bailey. Bailey back to Malen. Malen across. They try and clear it off the line. Spurs, excuse me. Clear it off the line. Porro plays it right back out into Morgan Rogers. There's really not much that can be done there. Poor. But Morgan Rogers is the one that finds the back of the net for Aston Villa. Gift of a chance, gift of a goal, roof of the net. And it's 2-0 to Aston Villa. And that will settle the nerves that might have been bubbling under here at Villa Park. While we restart, I was talking about 2 new ones. Marcus Rashford and Marco Asensio are on for Aston Villa, so even more attacking quality to enter the fray and to make their debuts for Aston Villa after both have joined on loan in the January window. Rashford on loan from Manchester United until the end of the season, looking to get himself back into good form in football, and Marco Asensio on loan from PSG until the end of the campaign. Villa have made some big attacking moves in the January window, and that's with already having some great attacking quality with the likes of Ramsey, Watkins, of course Bailey, Rogers. They've brought in some quality in Malen, Rashford and Asensio. I mean, that's 7 attackers. Wonderful stuff. And they lost John Duran, one of their most clinical finishers, to Al Nassr in the in the January window. Stoppage here. Kevin Danzo's gone down. He's holding his head, which is a worry. He's blood. There's blood on his head. That's why he's bleeding. So we have a stoppage. So a quarter of the game to go, and Kevin Danzo has blood pouring from his head. So there's a stoppage here, and the last thing Spurs need is more injuries, especially to a man who was brought in because of their extensive injuries. But I think it's just a collision with Marcus Rashford that has him bleeding there, so it will be a simple patch-up job. But speaking of the Spurs injuries, I'll wheel them off. Solanke, Richarlison, Van de Ven, Vicario, Udogie, Madison, Johnson, Werner, Dragusin, Audebert and Romero are their long list of injuries for Spurs amongst them. Ange Postecoglou's side have been decimated with injury problems this season. It's partly to the reason as to why they're in the position they're in the Premier League and where they are in their advancement stages of where their position is really this season. But those injuries have been an issue for Spurs, of course. But they're not the whole reason why they are where they are. As Danzo back to his feet after being patched up. Well, Villa, if they progress, which they're 2-0 up with 20 minutes or so to go, looks pretty likely, not guaranteed, but likely. The last time they won this competition in the FA Cup back in 1957. An incredible drought in the FA Cup, considering how big this football club is. They've won a European Cup more recently than the FA Cup, Aston Villa, which is sensationally remarkable. 1957, which would be 68 years since the last time Aston Villa won this competition. They would love an FA Cup. They would love any sort of trophy here at Villa Park. It'd be fabulous. They're one of the sides that are in the mix if the big sides don't win it, as in the likes of Man City, Man United. Tielemans charge down, and ball will bobble off a deflection for a Villa corner. Tielemans was wanting one. Well, Yuri Tielemans has won this competition. He won it in 2021 with Leicester. He scored the winning goal in that FA Cup final. Did Yuri Tielemans? He would love to get back there with Villa, because here comes Lucadinha, a cross goal. Well charged out by Jed Spence there. As Porro has it nicked away. Had the last touch, did Pedro Porro, and it will be a corner. He's claiming his innocence, but the assistant said it was a corner. And Marcus Rashford will come over to take this one. Takes it short. All the way back to Digne. McGinn given time to thread that ball through to Rashford. Rashford on this left flank. Dribbling into the box. Marcus Rashford across. Well blocked. Still enticing the ball back. Tielemans deep to the back post. Shot. Couldn't take the swipe and couldn't get the shot off. As Tell comes away with the ball. 20 minutes to go. Villa 2. Spurs 0. Spurs need a bit of a, not a miracle, but they need a bit of a helping hand if they want to try and get their way back into this game and not find themselves out of both cup competitions in the space of 3 days. Rashford. All the way back it comes to Kamara. Well, if Aston Villa were to win this competition this year, it would be their 8th win, which would equal the records of Tottenham, Chelsea and Liverpool, all who have 8 FA Cup victories. Oh, what a touch by Asensio, and a lovely ball. Toying with the Spurs defence here. Asensio back in the shot. Oh, over the bar by Rodgers. That was incredible stuff. Marco Asensio toying with the Spurs defenders. The skill, the touch, the audacity to play a ball like that. Back heeling it to Rodgers. Gives it back to Asensio, who just deftly touches it back to Rodgers on the edge of the box, who shoots, but just always going wide from that right-footed shot. Just swinging wide of that right post. Wow. That could have been some goal. Another Spurs change incoming, I've heard. We'll tell you about that in a moment, when I have the full details. As McGinn plays it on now to Morgan Rodgers. Space again. Asensio linking up with Rodgers again. They want to have another go. Rodgers through to Asensio into the box. On the turn, not given the time. Rodgers, edge of the box. Tielemans. Now across to Digne. Villa are playing pretty ticky-taka football at the moment around the Spurs team. That second goal has them brimming with confidence now. And are just toying with Spurs at the moment. Asensio. Back the way it comes to Bogard, and now Kamara. Steps into midfield, Boubacar Kamara. Lays it off to McGinn, back to Bogard, and the Olays are out now. Here is Digne. Rashford. Lovely little nutmeg on Porro. 1-2. Rashford into the box, goes down. Not going to get a foul. Referee says no. And the ball had just hit the referee, so we'll get an uncontested drop ball there. Rashford thought he was fouled by Porro. He's making a claim to the referee. We'll see it again. Initially, I thought he was brought down, but we'll see it again. Rashford chops on his inside. I mean, he's caught by Porro. There's no doubt. He just comes through the back of him. I mean, it should be a foul at the very least, a free kick outside the box. Rashford had a very valid claim there that he was fouled, but not given by the referee. That one is, though, given for a foul on Kulusevski by Luka Digne. So free kick to Tottenham on the halfway line. Well, they need, there's no question, there's no doubt, they need to have the next goal, Spurs, if they're going to keep this alive. Remember, extra time and penalties if the game is level after 90 minutes. Spurs need to score 2 goals without conceding for that to be the case. Spence linking up 1-2 with Son down the left, but the other number 7, John McGinn that time, was intercepting. Tell battling, but losing that battle to Garcia. And McGinn under pressure from Matthias Tell in that right back role. Oh, Tielemans in the box. Martinez, the calmness, the composure from Villa from the Spurs press. Incredible. Oh, deft little touch. And now the through ball. And Jacob Ramsey's clean through. He could finish it now. Good save by Kinski. Really good save. That's another big save that's kept Spurs very much in the tie. Albeit still 2 down. But a third goal would have really put the final nail in the Spurs coffin tonight. As Bergvall went down under a challenge. And was making great pain of that one. See it again. He's a slight. I mean, there's nothing in that. I was going to say he was slightly caught by John McGinn, but the replay says differently. Just seeing that chance again from Ramsey. What an opportunity. I mean, it's just some of the football that Aston Villa have been playing is just remarkable. It's sensational. It is proper class. And it's lacked the finish on that occasion again. Again, Anton Kinski. I mean, Spurs could be looking at a cricket score, a tennis score, whatever you want to call it, if he wasn't in goal today. Kinski's made a number of top saves. And still, Spurs are 2-0 down. Into the box it comes. Kulusevski cuts it back across. Blocked by Digne. Will be a Spurs corner. Those saves could give Spurs a bit of a platform to try and conjure a comeback here. Will be some comeback, some response, but it's not beyond the realms of possibility. Porro to take this corner. 13 minutes of normal time remain. Villa 2, Tottenham 0. Porro's delivery. Edge of the box. Bissouma takes it down. Rolls it on to Tell. Tell back to Bissouma. Bissouma with a shot. Blocked, but it's kept alive. Porro gets the break of the ball. Cross. Oh, over the bar. At the back post by Kevin Danzo. Big chance. Not taken by Tottenham. Really nice play again. Bissouma has the shot deflected, but it falls nicely. Digne tries to get on the end of it. Blocked. Kind of miscues it. It falls for Pedro Porro, who squares it across the 6-yard box. And Danzo with a free net at the back post. All he has to do is tap it in. And he puts far too much pace on it. And it goes well wide. That's a chance. Another chance. Not taken by Spurs. Garcia. Kamara. Across to Bogard. Well, Villa won't say no to a third goal. That would really dead the game, but better game management needed from Villa now. 2-0 up. Just need to give Spurs no real sniff of maybe a comeback. Digne saw the Hollywood pass, but put too much on it. As Spurs recover, sorry. Spence. Archie Gray. Danso. Into Kulishevsky, who couldn't take the ball with him, and Ramsey's there to pick it up. Rashford. Just really quick passing from Villa. Here's Digne. Ramsey again. Takes the ball with him. Porro trying to battle. And drags Jacob Ramsey to the ground. Does Pedro Porro. That'll be a yellow card for the Spurs right back. And obviously a Villa free kick. Yeah, Porro came crashing in and just threw Jacob Ramsey to the floor there. It's definite foul, definite yellow card. Maybe just a bit of frustration showing. Well, one stat that's really impressive for Spurs, I didn't know whether I'll be able to say it, but Heung-min Son has been involved in more FA Cup goals than any other Tottenham player in the Premier League era. Is 26 goals or assists, combined goals and assists in the FA Cup. 14 goals, 12 assists. In that time, only Harry Kane and Jermaine Defoe, with 15 goals each, have scored more in the competition for Tottenham than their current captain. But Heung-min Son had a chance in the first half, couldn't take it. To level that record, as Marco Asensio gets ready to take this free kick for Aston Villa, left-hand side. Left-footed delivery, whipped around the corner. Porro got in the way of that one. Less than 10 minutes to go. Villa 2-0 up. Rashford on the chase of the ball here. That was really great pressing. Oh, God. Danso clears it away. That could have been really a mess for Spurs. But Villa, sharp and as crisp in their passing as ever. Rashford across. Bit of a forced ball. Trying to win it back. Spence here. Beating off Rodgers. Spence breaking forward. Plays it into a contested area. McGinn wins the ball but can't keep it. As Bissouma recovers. Kulishevsky. Darting one forward, trying to find Tell on the run. Matisse Tell. Trying to hold off Bogard, but couldn't keep it in play. Throw into Aston Villa. Well, after defeat in the Carabao Cup in the week, it will be looking like another defeat in the Cup for Spurs this evening. And there's no shortage of big games on the horizon for Tottenham. When in 7 days, a week today, they will be hosting Manchester United. Both sides tussling in the Carabao Cup quarter-finals, where Spurs won 4-3 in that game, so looking for a repeat of that. They then head to Ipswich and then host Manchester City before the end of February. So some tough next few games for Spurs. For Aston Villa, well, if they progress, they'll be playing in this competition at the end of the month. But before that, they will be hosting Ipswich here in the Premier League in 6 days' time, Saturday coming. Then, midweek after that, they will be hosting the league leaders Liverpool before their fourth successive home game will see them face Chelsea the Saturday after, before they get to Crystal Palace, and then they will head into the next round of the FA Cup if they hold on here. So 4 league games for Villa before they end up, obviously, playing in the next round of the FA Cup. So some tough games for both of these two on the horizon. A lot of big games to come. Asensio, though, wide as the cross looked to be coming in. A bit too high. From the wide area from Morgan Rogers. Goes straight. That will be a throw into Tottenham. Well, since the start of last season, this will be Spurs' 21st defeat if they lose this evening in 46 games. I mean, there's no doubting the fact that there's been injury problems for Spurs, but that record is just not acceptable for Tottenham. 21 defeats in their last 46 games. It's just ridiculous for a club the size of this club, who've been in the Champions League final a number of years ago. They've been competing at the top. They've fallen by the wayside recently and set themselves in a very humbling position of 14th in the Premier League. As a chorus of "You're getting sacked in the morning" is sounded around Villa Park. I'm guessing it's from the home fans to Ange Postecoglou, I would suggest. Lamar Bogard there, penalised for a foul in the final third here on Matthias Tell, who's in pain. Referee I saw saying he didn't get the ball. We'll see it again. I mean, yeah, he didn't get the ball. He got the man. That's a good decision. Lamar Bogard just catching the right foot of Matthias Tell there. I said Villa need to manage it, not give Spurs a sniff. This could be a chance for Tottenham. Son over the free kick. So wide of the box, left hand side. Body's in that area. Set pieces have been quite kind to Spurs in attack this season. Son to deliver. Goes low. Goes short, and a nipped one. Straight at the goalkeeper. Good save by Martinez, who was alert. Tried to catch out the Villa defence. They actually almost closed it down, Villa. And Porro got a little sneaky shot on it as it arrived. And he just tried to arrow it to that top corner. It was a good save by Emi Martinez. Decent effort, decent save. Well, there's no doubt Spurs were better from the first to the second half. They've improved from first to second half quite impressively, but getting in front of goal has still been a problem for them in this second half, as Kulishevsky with the cross does get in the goal here. Lucas Bergvall closed down well by Kamara. I have to say, a makeshift Villa defence today has done very, very well. Oh, the through ball there from McGinn. Tried to find Rashford. Well cut out by Spurs, and they want a brick down the right. It's now or never really for Tottenham. The time's running out, and they've still got 2 goals to find to even bring it to extra time. Porro. Wide here. In behind from Jed Spence, but far too much. Well, Villa did make a sub shortly, not too long ago. Ian Maatsen came on for Luca Digne, that I forgot to mention. But with 2.5 minutes of the normal time to go and the additional time to come, it's got to this point where maybe you just kind of think about, well, who's player of the match? Well, I mean, there was no doubting the player of the match in that Plymouth game. Ryan Hardy, incredible, scoring that winning goal against Liverpool. But today, I mean, any of the Villa players could get player of the match, really. But you got to give it to Morgan Rogers. Incredible today. Absolutely incredible. Getting that second goal was crucial. Kind of settled Aston Villa, a bit scrappy, but it was good team play in the build-up to it. And the goal itself ended up being a bit of a mistake for Tottenham, but it was crucial. And that key moment, and it's not the only good thing that Rodgers has done today. He's done incredible work all day. He got the assist for the opener from Jacob Ramsey, and now he wants to add more, because here's Rashford on the break for Villa. This could wrap it up. Marcus Rashford, well closed down, and it's actually going to be a free kick to Spurs because Rashford caught Archie Gray there as he tried to stretch for the ball. Comes to nothing. Just a heavy touch let him down. As he tried to strike, he completely hacked Archie Gray there. Fabulous defending by Gray, but he got a complete whack on the right leg. Inadvertently there. Free kick to Spurs. Well, it's been a professional performance from Aston Villa, to say the very least. Today they haven't needed to be at their very peak of their powers, but no doubting the fact they've been the better side. But in the first half they should have had this game out of sight, to be honest. But Spurs improved into the second half, but didn't improve enough. And weren't able to find the net, really. And Aston Villa found that second goal, which just settled them a little bit more, and that's what it looks to be, carrying them through to round 5 here this evening. Unless Spurs can conjure up something of a remarkable comeback late in this game. But even the most optimistic Spurs fans, I don't think there's many of them, but they would be saying it's very slim. Although we've 5 added minutes at the end of the 90. 5 more. Danzo, Kulishevsky, linking up with Porro. Kulishevsky again, lifting one into the box. Tell with a little toe poke, and it's got one back for Tottenham. Matthias Tell, on his debut for Spurs, his full debut, gets his first goal for Tottenham, and they have found the nets. And with 4 minutes to go, is there a comeback on here at Villa Park? Villa 2, Tottenham 1. Nothing's done yet. Great delivery by Kulishevsky. And it's just a little toe poke. He sneaks round the back, and Matthias Tell pokes it into the far corner. Fabulous acrobatic play. And a lovely goal. And maybe Villa haven't finished. Maybe this game isn't done and dusted. Maybe Villa haven't got over the line just yet. Sarr tried to get the ball into the box. Well blocked by Ian Maatsen there. Not over yet. Not over yet. As the away fans singing loud, trying to force this second goal for Tottenham. Could they do it? Cross well blocked there. Picked up well in the middle by Bissouma. Villa keenly getting the ball back. McGinn, though, pressed by Son. Tell in the mix. Bergvall in the mix as well. And now Porro. A little bit of a flurry here for Tottenham. Kulishevsky whips one in again, but that time it was easily caught by Martinez. And all of a sudden, from a little bit of comfort, maybe a little bit of nerves, little bit of nail biting for the Aston Villa fans. Martinez to kick it long, 2.5 minutes of the 5 to go. And the kick straight to Archie Gray. And now down the left comes Spence. Jed Spence on the charge. Up against 2, Rodgers brings him down. And that will be a free kick to Tottenham. In a good area in the final third. Yeah, it's just a silly little naive foul from Morgan Rodgers, who's been practically faultless today, but just a naive foul. I mean, Spence was going nowhere. He just committed that little foul. And now it's kept his team under pressure. And there's just 2 minutes to go with the Spurs free kick whipped in. Caught by Emi Martinez. Maybe that was their chance. And Son's delivery easily gathered by the Villa keeper. I think Martinez will hurry in taking this kick. He doesn't, as it goes long. 1.5 minutes to go. Danzo wins the first header. Basuma can't keep it in midfield. Flicked on. On the turn now is Ramsey. Keeping Villa at the right end of the pitch. Ramsey. Tielemans. Taken out there. Absolutely thumped to the ground by Papsar was Tielemans. That'll be a Villa free kick with less than 1 minute to go. This is exactly what Aston Villa need, just to carry them over the line. They'll not hurry in taking this free kick. They'll waste as much time as they possibly can to deny Spurs no more. Deny Spurs another chance. Asensio was going to take it. Maatsen is now going to take it for Villa. Lays it off to Tielemans, back wide to Maatsen. And he will just put it back to Kamara, who takes a lovely touch infield. Maatsen again. Linking up with Ramsey. McGinn through the lines. Space here for Asensio. And he's just going to run to the corner flag. No, he's not. He's going to break into the box. Rashford. Asensio. Cut back across. Oh, missed an open net. Still alive. Tielemans cuts it back. Ramsey couldn't get on the end of it. And Spurs might have one last chance. 5 minutes is up. But that's it. Time's up. And Tottenham's late little flurry wasn't enough to find a way back in the game. Villa had done the damage by the time Spurs got on the score sheet. And Spurs find themselves out of 2 cup competitions in the space of 3 days. Thumped at Anfield 4-0 in the Carabao Cup semi-finals. And narrowly in the end, beaten by an Aston Villa side in the FA Cup. Spurs' chances of another trophy and ending that 17-year drought is getting slimmer and slimmer by the game. Ange Postecoglou beaten again. 21 defeats in 46 for Tottenham. But Villa, professional job in the end. It could have been nervy towards the end, but they got over the line. And their hopes of ending a 68-year wait for this trophy are coming one step closer. Round 5 is the next stop for Aston Villa in this competition. They're through after knocking out Tottenham in the 4th round. Final score, Aston Villa 2, Tottenham 1. There you are. Spurs were better in the second half, but Aston Villa were just too good for them on the day. And in the end, it is Villa who go through, bouncing back from that defeat to Wolves a week ago. And round 5 bound are Aston Villa. Incredible. 2 all Premier League ties for Aston Villa in this competition so far, and they're into round 5 and into the last 16. looking to go on a nice cup run at Villa. We will see if they can. Right, that's it from us today. After our double-header, both home sides winning out by a narrow lead in the end. Liverpool knocked out, along with Spurs, two sides who were competing in midweek for a place in a final. Liverpool got to that final, but weren't getting any further in this competition, and neither were Tottenham. Another defeat for Spurs. Another long, long trip back to North London from the north for Tottenham. Right, that's it. The end of FA Cup action here on LFS for the round 4. We're back in a couple of weeks' time when round 5 gets underway, the last 16. But before we round off all of our FA Cup action, we will have the 5th round draw for you tomorrow evening, around about 7:15. Round about that time, we will have the results of the draw. Now, of course, the ties won't be done by then. There's still 2 ties to be decided. Doncaster against Crystal Palace and Exeter against Nottingham Forest to come. But we will have the draw for you tomorrow, where Aston Villa will be in the draw tomorrow, along with Plymouth of the Championship, who knocked out Liverpool. But from us today, it's been great. 2 very good, very intriguing and very interesting FA Cup ties. And Aston Villa and Plymouth are through. Have a great rest of your weekend, and we'll see you tomorrow for that FA Cup draw. Night night.